is a tough union. It's hungry to win. To whoop your butt. To crush your spirit. To teach you a lesson. To take you down. No more, Mrs. Nice Guy. Show it who's boss. Outsmarted. Outlast it. Outrun it. Make mincemeat of it. Give it some curry. Take a big bite, chew it up, and taste victory. You're better on beef.
Hi, I'm Luke Jacobs with a Z, and I'm here to address concerns that too many perky white males are contributing to a lack of diversity on our screens.
We couldn't agree more. Hey, Sakura. Hey, Mustafa. So we're getting together over the ultimate cross-cultural protein to help put this right. We've got everyone in the room.
Well, technically, it's not a room.
Hey, let's not be spacists. Exactly. Hey, Dad. Sorry. We've got all the stands. We've got Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and this guy. Stan. People of color? I mean, who isn't? Oh, we've got our white whites, translucent whites, beige whites, red whites, and our dark whites who are darker than the light dark guys.
It's a thing.
All religions, faiths, and beliefs.
Can I talk to you about Jesus?
Yeah, sure.
He's talking the footy.
It's Jesus.
Jesus. Ooh, thank you. Oh, and of course, Jordan's here. She's Greek.
And proud.
Do you know what the best thing is about diversity? Everything. So let's stop talking about it and get together over the meat that doesn't discriminate. Right. Lamb's ready. So, who was here first?
That'll be us.
Right, you are.
Welcome everyone. Thank you very much for coming to our AGM today. I do have apologies from James Campbell, David Foote, Donald McGeechy and Jason Strong. I've been advised also there are a number of proxies that have not been collected from the registration desk. If any of the following people are present, could I ask you to please go to the registration desk and collect your proxies? They are John Carter, David Fisher, Kenneth Harper, Peter McIntyre, David Byard, Andrew Ogilvie and Peter Wild. As you know, MLA is a producer-owned company and many of our directors are also levy payers. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce my fellow directors, and I'll remember Alan Beckett this year, who I forgot last year. Especially since he's going to do the voting. So if I could ask them to perhaps raise their hands and I'll call out each member. So George Scott is our Northern Cattle producer. Jeff Maynard is also a Northern Cattle producer. Lucinda Corrigan is a Southern Seed Stock producer. Alan Beckett, Southern Cattle producer and Audit and Risk Specialist. Chris Myram, Southern Sheep producer. Erin Gorter, Western Lamb producer. Stephen Chaw, Strategic Marketing Specialist. Rob Fitzpatrick, Innovation and Value Chain Specialist. Richard Norton, our Managing Director, and we're also joined by our Company Secretary, Claire Stanix. I'd also like to introduce Rob Lewis from Ernst & Young, who conducted our MLA audits, who's sitting in the front row. So the agenda for today, the order of business of the meeting will be as follows. Following my opening address, I'll present to you the report of the directors, MLA's financial statements and the audited reports for the year ending 30th of June 2016. I'll then take questions about the accounts. The meeting will then consider resolutions concerning the election of myself, Mr George Scott and Mr Alistair Watson as directors of MLA. These resolutions will be debated and voted on separately and will be conducted by poll. As the first resolution deals with my election, I will vacate the chair in favour of another director while those resolutions are before the meeting. Following the resolutions before the meeting, Richard Norton, the Managing Director of Meat and Livestock Australia, will give his address. We'll then take general questions and comments about the management and activities of MLA and matters relevant to MLA and its membership. Once the business of the meeting is finished, I invite you all to join us for barbecue and drinks. Could I also say at this time that if you're unable to attend for the duration of the meeting today, the polls are now open for the voting process. All that you simply need to do is to take the opportunity, if you wish to leave or leave early, is to hand your ballot paper or put your ballot paper in a collection box at the registration desk. A registration provider, Computershare, will have that all at the registration desk. There's nothing unusual about it, it just gives you the opportunity to leave if you need to. So without further ado, I'll move to my address. So again, thank you very much for attending the AGM this afternoon. Whether you're sitting in the Adelaide Hills Convention Centre or you're live streaming on your device, I'm pleased to welcome you to the MLA 2016 Annual General Meeting. MLA places a high priority in giving all our members the opportunity to participate in our AGMs, both around the country, and we offer all live streaming of our speeches for those who can't attend in person. This year, it's been a pleasure to be held in the Adelaide Hills. Yesterday, 15 producers signed up to a pre-AGM bus tour where there was some work shown around MLA and from its subsidiary company, the MLA Donor Company, and looking at those investments. Within a 50-kilometre radius of this room, producers saw first-hand innovations and research in action, which include the covered aerobic lagoons at Thomas Foods International. This technology has not only addressed community odour concerns, but has reduced the company's natural gas consumption by 30%. Over the 5 years TFI has been working with MLA Donor Company, they've reduced their costs by $27 million and their carbon dioxide equivalent emissions by nearly 270,000 tonnes. On the bus tour, they also visited Tim and Sarah Burville's, a Hereford Bow-Store restaurant. There they discovered a new product on the menu which had diners raving: a dry-aged saltbush mutton loin. Previously, the Burvilles used their state-of-the-art aged drying facility in the Adelaide Hills to dry aged beef. But in a trial funded by MLA, dry aged mutton outperforms standard wet aged lamb in taste testing. This has opened up an opportunity to value add what was traditionally perceived as a low-grade product, giving diners a unique flavour experience. I'm pleased the levy payers were able to see this important work in action, and it's work which is fostering the long-term prosperity of the red meat livestock industry. If you weren't on the bus, MLA's report is another way that you can see what MLA is investing producer levies in research and marketing in 2015 and 16. You can get a copy of these from the MLA website or at the registration desk if you're here in the room. Other ways to stay across MLA's work include through our website, feedback magazine, e-newsletters, Facebook and Twitter. MLA is committed to transparency and accountability about the research and marketing it invests on behalf of levy payers and how we're managing your industry's company. In the next few minutes, I'll provide some insights from our markets and the businesses covered by the MLA board this year. MLA's Managing Director will later share with you some highlights where levies delivered tangible outcomes this year. He'll also provide an overview of the financial performance of MLA, and he'll set out how MLA is actively planning for the future of the Australian red meat and livestock industry and the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. So if I start with the markets, 2016 has been another remarkable year, with most of last year's record high livestock prices being surpassed by new ones. After many difficult years, it's so pleasing to see Australian producers reap some rewards from the markets. Such strong prices have contributed to the total value of the red meat industry and livestock by reaching nearly 23 million in 2015-16, only 0.9% below last year's results. Looking at the cattle and beef markets, Australian cattle prices remain wedged between two extreme forces. On one hand, Australian beef prices have been getting higher simply because the number of cattle has fallen to a 20-year low. On the other hand, most global price indicators are easing, and as a result, the growing global beef and meat production, particularly in the United States, and improving market access from Brazilian beef and Indian buffalo. So how will these extreme forces play out? The contrasting price trends and the fact that Australia is a price taker in global beef markets means that once Australian production eventually ramps up, prices will realign with global movements and move from the record highs. The United States will likely intensify its competition in our major traditional markets like Japan and Korea. Brazil will increasingly make its presence felt courtesy of new access agreements and a currency advantage in terms of the value of the real versus our dollar. As Australian beef comes under mounting pressure from competitors, our industry must continue to reinforce our position as a provider of high-quality beef with traceability, safety and integrity systems to back up our claims. We are the envy of the world when it comes to these systems, and we must continue to enhance and promote them at every opportunity to our global customers. With cattle supplies tight, export demand strong, and retail prices high, our domestic consumers are having to reduce their beef consumption. But the good news is, for our industry, is that consumers are spending about the same amount from the household budget on beef. As Richard Norton will touch on, MLA's Better on Beef campaign, which is firmly grounded in consumer insights, is gaining traction in a difficult market. The campaign has been able to reinforce the nutritional benefits of beef to our consumers at home. In the lamb industry, two trends which have been playing out in recent years have been increasing lamb slaughter and lamb prices. Historically, it's been either one or the other, never both. This really highlights the strength of domestic and export demand for Australian lamb. Our rising lamb production has been diverted to the US, Middle East and Greater China. At home, our consumers are eating the same amount of lamb and they're paying more for it. Australians are showing they really do love their lamb. This is a remarkable series of trends and there's no sign of them abating. We also expect the lamb production from our biggest competitor, New Zealand, will remain subdued. This alignment of the planets represents a valuable opportunity for our Australian lamb industry to invest in its future. I can report that enthusiasm was clearly evident when our board had the pleasure of meeting in conjunction with the biannual LambX conference in Albury in August. In the goat market, demand continues to outstrip supply, symbolised by eastern states over-the-hook prices in 2015-16 surpassing last year's record by 33%. The outlook for goat meat remains bright, with Australian position as the largest goat meat producer in the world, supplying an increasingly diverse range of customers. While all levy payers keep their eye on their businesses, the markets and the season over the last 12 months, the MLA board remained focused on ensuring your levies were invested in research, development and marketing, which continues to contribute to the long-term prosperity of the red meat and livestock industry. This has included looking for ways to enhance operational efficiency in our companies, including the new Integrity and Information Systems Company, headed by Dr. Jane Weatherly. In her role, Jane is charged with streamlining the management of Australia's traceability and quality assurance programs for beef, sheep and goat meat. This company will also incorporate the management of big data through the value chain digital strategy, which was kicked off last month, as we heard this morning, in Brisbane with over 300 participants. The MLA board has set MLA's other subsidiary company, excuse me, the MLA donor company, on an exciting and ambitious charter. Its mandate is to attract more new investment in research and development across the value chain at a time when levy revenue is diminishing. In recent years, MDC's work program has been worth $30 million, but that's set to double with the extra funding from the Australian government. To capture this opportunity, the MLA board has appointed Dr. Christine Pitt as the inaugural CEO of MDC. During this year, the MLA board approved MLA's strategic plan 2016 to 2020. This is MLA's roadmap for our strategic direction and investment priorities until 2020. The plan has a single focus of fostering the long-term prosperity of the red meat and livestock industry. The strength of this plan comes from the collaboration between MLA and peak industry councils and the Australian government and the wider meat industry. The plan is aligned with the Meat Industry Strategic Plan 2020 and the Australian Government's Rural Research Development and Extension priorities, as well as its science and research priorities. Our strategic plan is based on 6 pillars: customer and community support, market growth and diversification, supply chain efficiency and integrity, productivity and profitability, leadership and collaborative culture, and stakeholder engagement. The successful delivery of the plan will contribute to a more profitable, sustainable and globally competitive red meat and livestock industry by 2020. To conclude, I'd like to acknowledge the hard work of our researchers, agencies and MLA staff in helping MLA deliver projects and outcomes that foster the prosperity of our industry. I especially want to highlight the Australian Government as a valuable partner in our research, development, adoption by providing matching dollars for our research projects we manage. By leveraging this money with producer levies and with the voluntary partner contributions, we're able to accelerate the breadth and depth of our research and the speed of delivering outcomes for meat safety, rabbit management, new vaccines, through to beef automation, developing new red beef products and investigating new pastures. The MLA board itself has worked this year to provide strategic direction to the company. I would especially like to thank an outgoing member, Lucinda Corrigan, as our longest serving director on the current MLA board, for her service over the last 9 years. Not only has Lucinda served on the MLA board, but she's also chaired MLA's subsidiary company, MDC. Lucinda, with your corporate knowledge, your perspective as a levy payer, your first-hand knowledge of issues affecting producers has been invaluable. And we'll miss you on our board and we wish you all the best in your new endeavours. I'd also like to thank the peak industry councils, both Cattle Council, Sheep Meat Council, Alpha, or Australian Feedlotters Association, and the goat industry for all their help and assistance in the last 12 months. These councils work tirelessly to guide and monitor MLA's performance, business plans and budgets on behalf of levy payers. And most importantly, on behalf of the MLA board, I would like to thank every levy payer sitting in this room and watching on our live streaming for your support over the past 12 months. The coming year will present more opportunities for our red meat industry and livestock. MLA will continue to work hard for you as we set up our subsidiary companies for the success and to ensure our research, development and marketing services to continue to help improve farm productivity, profits and the industry prosperity. Thank you for listening.